This episode is sponsored by my company, Valor Cyber Security, where we help defense contractors navigate the uncharted waters of cybersecurity compliance. As a cyber attack victim myself, I know the impact that this plays in people's lives, and at Valor, we solve that each and every day. If you're a defense contractor feeling frustrated and confused when it comes to cybersecurity compliance, visit valor-cybersecurity.com, take our free assessment, and get started on your journey to clarity in cybersecurity. If you're a defense contractor still confused about CMMC, this session is specifically for you. My name is Greg Tomchic, CEO here at Valor Cyber Security. And today's session, main purpose is to create the clarity you need to get CMMC ready. We're not talking about really getting into all the technical weeds that a lot of companies in our space get into. We're talking about the information that you need to get clarity on your next step when it comes to getting CMMC ready. And that is honestly the hardest step we've seen a lot of companies have to take, is really just getting started, getting ready, and then getting to the line where they can go and get a certification from there. Extremely excited about this topic specifically. Over the past about 4 years, since we started Valor in 2021, we've helped over 100 companies get ready for CMMC. It's been an incredible journey. I'm truly honored to be able to lead such a great team that has innovated, has gone through the ups and downs, the changes in regulations, the doubt from defense contractors that we've been serving. A lot of hard conversations at the board level to be able to get buy-in to why we're doing this at the end of the day, obviously to protect national security, but also to keep the company healthy and in a state where they can go forward with no doubts that there's going to be negative repercussions from not doing this or spending too much money on implementation. So it's been finding that balance, and the whole Valor team has done such an incredible job to keep our clients calm, maintain a peaceful exchange between sometimes organizations that are angry that they have to spend money on this. But this time period today, right in the middle of the law going into place, which is November 10th, 2025, and they released it last month in September 10th, 2025, so that 60-day lawmaking period. Am I prepared enough for CMMC? If you don't have your certification, it's hard to answer that question. But today we're going to give you everything you need to either take the next step or to figure out if you're ready enough for the certification. That's what we do best here at Valor Cybersecurity. So zooming out a little bit, I love to start with the bigger picture. So CMMC really started to come into play. All of this started in 2017. CMMC didn't become a thing until 2019, which basically certifies that you're doing everything that came out in 2017, which was Defense Federal Acquisition Requirement 7012. I don't want to get too deep into the numbers and things of that nature, but 7012 said you need to have NIST 800-171. At that time, it was, I believe, revision 1, which is now revision 3, in place. So first and foremost, it's called the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification, and it's based off of cybersecurity requirements, but this is not a cyber issue at the board level. This is a business survival issue. It's in your contracts most likely already, and it's going to become a certifiable requirement as of November 10th if it hasn't already for those top tier defense contractors. This is all about supply chain security. There are multiple companies in a supply chain, but we've also seen about 2 or 3 companies get that False Claim Act millions of dollars later, lost contracts, huge liability, huge loss of trust from the Department of Defense and the agency they're working with. And honestly, a lot of these companies had to lay off a few people as a part of it. So their mission was extremely corrupted by just lying and not doing what they should have done. And it would have been a fraction of the cost to do it up front than they had to pay in legal fees, as well as loss of trust and personnel that they wanted to keep on the team. So that is the positive. We've seen companies, I'd say tens of millions of dollars in additional revenue once we gave them the clarity to actually submit and be proactive about going about proving all of the great things they've done from a CMMC readiness and cybersecurity readiness overall. The next point I want to mention is supply chain pressure. So a lot of companies that have come to us say one of our partners have asked us to do this. That's typically how it starts. Obviously, everybody's heard about this now. They know it's out there, but until you get somebody breathing down your neck, oftentimes action does not take place. And you may have to be that person to go ask your partners about CMMC readiness, because there's deeper levels to supply chains. There can be up to 8 different layers of a supply chain, and only 4 of them are looked at by the prime contractor. So you have to look at your suppliers as well. That's what supply chain security is all about. Highlight point, and we actually have a free CMMC readiness course that has a whole video on how to update your documentation or how to find the right people to help you do that. So there's still 3 levels of CMMC. Level 1 is federal contract information. Level 2 is CUI, and level 3 is still something that a lot of companies don't need to focus on. It's really the probably top 5% of companies that are working on or hosting technology and data on behalf of the government, which is very few of the contractors that you'll probably come across or that you potentially are. So you're going to start seeing the new clause, which is 70-25. So you had 70-21, you had 70-19, you had 70-20, and 70-21. You're going to see 70-25, or 70-12 was NIST Standard 171. You have 70-25 is the new CMMC DFARS clause. So definitely look for that starting November 10th in your contracts. 70-25 is going to be the requirement to actually get the CMMC certification. CMMC and NIST Standard 171 is about 50% technical, so IT, 50% governance and administrative. Governance, think executive board, think executive level, think business process and operations. Compliance is a business risk. We talk a lot about this as a business risk. We've seen it blow up so many times, and we've learned a thing or two about the right way to think about it and then actually operationalize it with that shared responsibility model between operations, executive leadership, and then IT. And it's done best when it's that collaborative approach because everybody understands and can answer questions when it comes to the certification. So as I mentioned, we're going to get into how to get ready, kind of the roadmap we feel is ideal to kind of put yourself at one of these phases. And if you're at one of these phases already, where you need to go to next. So first of all, you need to assess where you're at, some type of gap analysis. You need to scope things out. You need to figure out what's in place, what's not in place. And you need to make sure you know and have a budget around implementing those specific things. That's where the planning comes in. What people, processes, and tools do you need to close the gaps that were identified? Set up governance and reporting structures. This is one of the things that we do that oftentimes our clients didn't expect, and they really benefit from the ability to put things into clear pictures for executives to show the business impact and the progress we're making through these requirements. We feel are most benefited from the CEOs of defense contractors being a champion for. The first one, which is a huge impact to CMMC, is multi-factor authentication. It sounds very basic, but if you have multi-factor authentication, you are significantly improving your chances protecting CUI. That's the first fold. But second fold is to actually get in a better state CMMC-wise. Cybersecurity awareness training, getting specific training around CUI and government information in your organization, and then making sure people are aware of how it's being protected and how they can help you protect your business, which is what every CEO ultimately wants. But we also get to talk to these organizations in the supply chain to see what they're struggling with most. And we don't see companies do that enough. Obviously, they deploy a company like us. You don't have to do that to have those types of informative conversations. Just say, how are you feeling about, current defense cybersecurity requirements or CMMC, whatever terms you want to use, or just cybersecurity in general. How are you implementing multi-factor? How are you protecting your network or protecting our data that we're exchanging? Just opening up with those questions really is going to blow you away from a leadership standpoint on what you learn and then opportunities you uncover. And we're all about using security to elevate opportunities and to protect those opportunities ultimately on the back end. Greatly appreciate your time joining today. CMMC is now a law, and this is how you can go about getting ready. In a way that we've learned with over 100 companies. We have a free CMMC readiness course, which breaks down all of these topics we covered today in more granular detail, free of charge. It's our kind of giveaway to the industry because we are in the business of helping protect national security, and we do that through serving great defense contractors like you. So until next time, my name is Tomchic. Stay safe and stay secure.